Hey everyone, today I'll be going over our in-depth guide of how to play our budget Bannerman Midrange deck. This deck was recently featured in our top 3 budget decks for the latest Legends of Runeterra expansion, so be sure to check out that video if you haven't already. For this deck, we have 2 versions, one that is budget friendly for the player and one that you can slowly work your way into upgrading to have the most competitive deck. Out of the 3 decks that we've shown in our previous video, this is by far the easiest deck to play. There's no complicated win conditions that need to be fulfilled. All you need to do is simply curve out. In this guide, we will be covering the Mulligan phase and the strategy against 3 different types of decks: aggro, midrange, and control. For the Mulligan, you're going to aim for a card that costs 1, 2, and 3 mana, like Cithria of Cloudfield, Brightsteel Protector, and Loyal Badger Bear. If you're starting second and on the defense, Fleet Feather Tracker into War Chefs is another excellent option that will help you swing the game in your favor. Once you've mastered the Mulligan phase with this deck, you'll set yourself up for the best chances of success in the match. The general strategy for this deck is to play the best possible minions for the best possible value each turn, trying to use up as much mana as you can each turn to give you the best value trades. Since most of the minions in the deck are all very high value, you'll find it very easy to give yourself favorable trades most of the time. The deck aims to slowly wear down the opponent until you overwhelm them in the late game with cards like Cithria the Bold and Citrus Courier. Your strongest matchup will be against aggro decks, which struggle keeping up with the value that you can generate in the early game. Once you've made it to the late game, the deck easily overpowers the aggressive deck, ensuring the win. Against another midrange deck, it becomes a game of who can outvalue the other, so make sure you're familiar with the strong combos in the deck and save cards like Single Combat to target high value targets that generate the most value. Examples of these high value targets could be heroes that they're trying to combo off with, for example, Misfortune or Quinn. Control decks will be the toughest matchup for this deck, since they will often have time to play their big removal spells and have a late game that will destroy yours. In this matchup, aim to be more aggressive than normal and try to activate cards like Jagged Butcher before your opponent has a chance to react. In the control matchup, aim to burn them out as quickly as you can before they can use their win conditions, for instance like Maokai. The budget version of this deck has only 3 Misfortunes in it and no Quinns. In this case, Quinn has been swapped out for Razor Scale Hunters in the deck as a cheaper alternative. Once you've collected enough shards or wild cards to upgrade your deck, replace your Razor Scale Hunters with Quinn in order to give you an even better competitive advantage. Thanks for watching our mid-range Bannerman deck guide, and if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more Legends of Runeterra content. The deck you saw in this video can be found in the description below.